Pillars of Progress, and I'm Anne-Marie Ganesh. Let's get to the headlines. More early childhood centers opened, kidnapping for ransom down, and the people of Sealots get help. There are more options for early childhood centers along the east-west corridor. A number of them have been completed and will soon be open to the public. These centers provide support, care and development to children under 6 years old. But for a very long time, they were private sector driven. The Ministry of Education has stepped in, taking legislation to the Parliament and ensuring that they provide an experience that's meaningful for our children. Since then, they have turned their plans into reality, building centres across the country. Today, the Prime Minister was on hand for the opening of a few. Here's John Victor to give us a look at the centre in Bonaire.
The place many of our nation's little ones will have their first learning experience. The Bonaire West Early Childhood Centre will be home to 3 to 5-year-olds. It's here aspects of their self-confidence, creativity and personality will be nurtured. This centre is just one of many the government plans to build across the country. As they see it, this one and the others will serve as an asset to Trinidad and Tobago.
For the future, an investment that we make in education of our children and for future generations. That is why this is so very important. So today, this handing over ceremony reflects one of the best investments we can make as a government and a people and our country's development for the future.
Using research to demonstrate what's driving this plan, she says education is the most cost-effective way out of poverty. By the end of next year, a total of 46 early childhood education centres will be completed and ready for use.
International research shows yields very high economic returns. It is the most cost-effective strategy to bring what is known as intergenerational transmission of poverty and to improve productivity and social cohesion of a country.
And with citizens demanding solutions to the issue of rising crime, Mrs. Prasad Bisesa expects that the establishment of these centres will play a role in bringing that situation under control.
Early childhood experience has a great impact on the development of your intelligence, on your character, and your social behavior. If you miss that window of opportunity during these very early years, it will be much costlier and harder to build a successful life later on. So the scientific research shows that brain development is most active in the first 2 years of life. Providing nutrition, healthcare, early stimulation significantly strengthens your subsequent physical and cognitive development. Investing in early childhood development education is the most cost-effective way, it is said, to improve the lives of this country's next generation. The evidence of this is very strong. It suggests that such investments yield economic returns of 7 to 18%.
Bonaire West Early Childhood Centre is part of a bigger plan.
We are beginning the construction of another 24 or 50 early childhood education centres to be constructed. And these 24 will be completed by December 2011. So in 1.5 years of our People's Partnership Administration, under the direction and the guidance and the support and the motivation of our distinguished Honorable Prime Minister, by December 2011, we hope to have completed 11 plus 11, 22 plus another 24, 46 early childhood education centres in a year and a half.
The students who will occupy this building will be wanting for little. To quote one educator, it's here they will develop skills that will help each of them transform the world. John Victor for Pillars of...
Let's switch gears now to share with you some encouraging figures which will hopefully bring relief and peace of mind to citizens. Few would forget the heart-wrenching stories of kidnapping, the stories of citizens snatched at gunpoint while criminals demanded huge ransoms for their safe return. In some cases, their relatives never saw them again. It was an unacceptable situation with everyone demanding an end. Well, today there's some hope. The latest statistics show there's been a reduction in the number of kidnappings for ransom. Gregory Rears reports.
It is something that has plagued the nation for many years. the kidnapping of persons for ransom. Many were left in dark, forested areas, sometimes not knowing whether they'd make it out alive, while concerned family members waited out, hoping for the best. And each year the numbers rose. Kidnappings for ransom seemed on the rise, with little let up. Today, though, there's hope. New statistics from the Ministry of National Security show a drastic downward trend. Compared to 221 kidnappings in 2005 and 147 in 2009, so far this year there have been 38 kidnappings, 2 for ransom. But the ministry is doing more. New legislation is now before the Parliament designed to make it even more difficult for offenders to engage in such criminal activity. The Bail Act and an act to amend the current kidnapping law seeks to increase the period a person can be held without evidence of kidnapping from 60 to 120 days, and to increase the penalty for kidnapping from life imprisonment to imprisonment for the remainder of a person's natural life. The additional time is also expected to allow the judicial and prosecutorial arms of the state to more effectively deal with cases of accused persons who are before the courts, charged with such offences. Gregory Reyes for Pillars of Progress.
And there's more good news. The Children's Authority Board has been strengthened. 2 new members received their instruments of appointments. This means the board now has the expertise of a psychologist and an accountant. All in all, it's a 9-member board. Karma Bala Boyk tells us what this means for the implementation of the Children's Authority Act.
These instruments of appointments given to these 2 new members of the Children's Authority Board are a testament of the state's commitment to preserving and protecting the rights of the child. To date, scores of children have been mercilessly beaten, tortured and killed, often at the hands of those they love. The aim of this board is to put the necessary measures in place to offer these children some much-needed support. This 9-member board will be responsible for the operationalization of the Children's Authority.
The task of setting up the Children's Authority is not a job that you walk into one day and you say, hello, come in, we are ready. We've had to set up systems to get us to this stage. We are quite happy that the additional board members have been appointed, because if you would look at the legislation, as part of the board we need to have an accountant and a child psychologist or psychiatrist. And we have those 2 members that we've been without for some time.
The state also intends to put the necessary legislative agenda in place to ensure that board members can effectively conduct their duties.
For the last couple months, the LRC, which is the Legislative Review Committee, we have been pounding away at the Children's Bill and formulating a bill that is prepared to be laid in Parliament. We are at that stage right now where we feel comfortable that we have a work that is ready to be laid in Parliament, but it is being looked at by the Office of the Attorney General.
Thus far, this board has been able to get a lot done. They meet regularly and are engaged in activities designed to give children the protection they deserve.
Like everything else in government, there is a bureaucracy that exists, and we've been working closely with the ministry to expedite certain things. But then there's still process, and we still want to ensure that the process is one that is filled with integrity and transparency. Okay.
This board member gives further insight into what has been done to date.
When we got our appointments a couple of years ago, we spent quite a few months just becoming fully aligned with the legislation, okay, the various bills and so forth. Then we engaged in a strategic planning process, okay, really looking at where we are today in terms of the various boards and various committees like the foster care committee, the adoption board, the children's homes. There are a lot of various agencies that are going to be subsumed under the Children's Authority.
New board member and psychologist Dr. Samuel Shafi is delighted to be a part of this process.
Should be able to contribute quite to the authority. I was actually invited to join the authority by the chair after the last meeting we had concerning St. Mary's Home, because I was appointed as a committee member to investigate St. Mary's. That was when I got the invitation to come on board. If you look at Trinidad, we have a lot to do in that we had nothing on the ground in the past, and most of the things that were done by the NGOs.
I'm Kamabala Boyk for the Pillars of Progress.
It's time for a break, but on the other side, reaching out to residents of Sealots.
When you are out shopping, avoid carrying items or exposing large sums of cash. You can be targeted by criminals. Use debit cards to make your purchases whenever possible. Remember, crime prevention is everyone's business. A message from the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service. Do not leave your key in the ignition of your vehicle when you open your driveway. This makes it easy for someone to make off with your vehicle. If this happens, call the police immediately. Remember, crime prevention is everyone's business. A message from the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service.
Jenny?
Girl, how you going?
I am fine. Just here anymore doing some shopping with my guilt-free money.
Guilt-free money?
Yes, Jenny, you know Board of Inland Revenue have a tax amnesty on now?
Uh-huh.
Yes.
Tell me how that works.
It's easy. All you have to do is just pay all your outstanding taxes leading up to the year 2009, and all interest and penalties will be waived.
But wait, there must be a catch.
No, girl, it didn't have no catch. All you have to do is pay all your outstanding balances by May 31st of this year, and you're good to go.
That's sounding good. But wait, if I can't remember what years may be outstanding, how I will deal with it?
You just go down to Board of Inland Revenue and they'll assist you with everything.
Well, girl, thanks for the info. Now I too can shop with some guilt-free money.
The Board of Inland Revenue advises that an amnesty is in effect from September 8th, 2010 to May 31st, 2011. Be wise. Take advantage of this opportunity. Inland Revenue Division, changing the way we interact with you.
Welcome back. You're viewing Pillars of Progress. Let's tell you now of an initiative that will raise this country's profile on the world's stage. It's a professional training program for international officers. It will see the Ministry of Foreign Affairs working along with the Institute of International Relations at the University of the West Indies. Zomari Tanka has more.
We're living in dynamic times when the international landscape is changing at a pace many find difficult to keep up with. This new global village is interesting and challenging, and new trends in technology and communication continue to open doors. With these changes in mind, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs wants to ensure that new diplomats are not left behind. The Ministry and the Institute of International Relations at the University of the West Indies have teamed up with the aim of developing what they describe as a global mindset for new diplomats. Campus Principal Clement Sanker believes this is a very important initiative of Trinidad and Tobago.
It is widely known that while developed countries have several instruments on which to draw upon in their relations with other countries and international organizations, we in the Caribbean have to find ways to maneuver in today's harsh competitive environment. In this context, diplomacy is really the only instrument we have to advance our cause in the international community. As a result of this reality, we must continuously endeavor to strengthen our diplomatic capacity. And as principal of the UWI St. Augustine campus, I truly believe that our campus, with a wealth of experienced academics, and let me say not only in the IIR, but across our various faculties, and we do have 5 faculties, with a 6th, a faculty of law in the making, practitioners and professionals right here within our Institute of International Relations, that we have a very critical role to play in advancing this agenda. And I would urge our director of the Institute of International Relations to draw upon the depth and breadth of the entire campus, and let me see the entire university. When we speak of St. Augustine, we're just one part of a large regional university with full campus.
So what is on the agenda for participants? Public diplomacy, the promotion of Trinidad and Tobago's national interest, and the practice of international relations. The ministry believes that the program is one step further in moving towards developing a highly competent and focused cadre of diplomats who will actively promote the interests of Trinidad and Tobago abroad. Foreign Affairs Minister Dr. Suroj Ratan Rambachan says he's personally excited because he knows the value of training people.
The relevance of the institution, of any institution, and its sustainability is a function of its responsiveness to client-customer needs. And this is part of what we are seeing here today. Let me be the first to say, again, that the IRR and Professor Shaw have been not only responsive, but have kept a very open mind. They have been prepared to engage in intelligent discourse, bridging the world of active diplomacy and the practice of foreign affairs with the institution's capacity for targeted research and rational thinking.
Professor Sankar says he's really pleased this is a team effort.
I have often said that when the university and its academics can team up with those in the private and public sector to develop programs of study, we can build the kind of relevance and impact that we're all both trying to achieve.
Zomari Tanka for the Pillars of Progress.
Our world is changing, so much so that some believe our planet will be unrecognizable in a few years if we don't change the way we treat our environment. It's an issue Trinidad and Tobago is on record as saying it's committed to. In fact, at the highest level, the Prime Minister Kamla Persad-Bissessar has endorsed a campaign that's meant to clean and beautify the country. But other members of her cabinet are also doing their part. Karma Balaboik reports.
Global climate change has been impacting the sustainability of natural resources, particularly in small island developing states, and could sometimes have debilitating effects on the fragile ecosystem of these states. It's something that the government of Trinidad and Tobago seeks to guard against.
To this end, ladies and gentlemen, the government of Trinidad and Tobago is in the process of finalizing a policy on climate change and has recently approved a revised forest policy and a protected areas policy. This, when completed, will lead to a new authority to replace the existing forestry division.
The climate change policy will seek to direct the country in pursuing a low-carbon development path consistent with the principles of sustainable development.
By making one conscious decision, whether it is to use less energy, whether it is to dispose of a particular waste, every single individual, by taking one conscious decision, can assist us to protect our environment. It is probably the only area in a development agenda where a citizen can play that role consciously and probably unconsciously as well.
But he says his ministry cannot do it alone.
The media plays a key role in the development of any country, not only in keeping a government and keeping politicians and public officers in check, not only on the issue of accountability and responsibility, but also to educate and inform citizens of their role, their responsibilities, of threats to your environment.
I'm Karma Balaboik for the Pillars of Progress.
The program is known as Direct Effect, and the aim is to raise the standards of living of citizens as well as offer those who may not know a chance to access government's services. Well, that's exactly what happened when the Ministry of the People and Social Development visited Production Drive in Sealots. Let's get the details from John Victor.
This community's hardships are no longer being ignored. The ministry has come up with a plan that will change their fortunes.
Do it from the perspective that food, clothing, shelter. And we start off with this, ensure that each person has enough food to eat, because if they need the help, they can get that help from the ministry. And then we go to shelter. And shelter, if there's leakage in the roof and if the parts of the building are broken down, there's a woman with 12 children we met here today. And I asked her how many rooms she has, and she has one room. Definitely somebody like that needs the assistance to try and expand the home or ensure that the home is more stable and proper. So those are the kind of interventions.
But for this community bordering the seafront, there are other unique challenges such as drainage.
Definitely any area close to the sea and low-lying, we will have some problem with drainage, and some of these drains are not being cleared properly, and there's serious health risk, and we need to respond to that and flush out some of these drains and get, you could see the high microbial content, you could see the contamination, the pollution in some of the drains, and I think that can lead to other health risk in the community. That is an immediate need that we saw.
And the ministry's outreach is all about empowering people.
And then people can help themselves by getting into small businesses, retraining, going back to school, and getting a better job so that they can go through an empowerment phase in their life.
And it seems the minister's visit found favor with some residents.
It's a good feeling, but you know how it has been in these areas, you know how it has been, but it's a good feeling because I saw we see a good minister pass through, trying to assist and support and so forth. But you know the people need help more than they need. So you would like him to come again and put his best foot forward, because we need drains to fix. We have houses, we have people who, you know what I mean? We need roads, we need works.
I felt proud to know that at least somebody could pass in here and see the conditions that people are living in. The youths down here, we don't want no TT card or anything like that. Take the youths, teach them a trade, so in the future they'll be able to feed themselves.
John Victor for Pillars of Progress.
It's time to take a break, but when we return, we'll tell you about a month that's devoted to the family.
Come to our beaches. We're looking out for you. We are reporting from communities across the country. People are calling Nallis Libraries their library. Tell me, why is Nallis your library?
My library is where I can have fun learning.
My library is helping me earn better grades with online research resources.
My library is my gateway to the world of information.
My library is providing access to the differently abled. As a visually impaired person, I can envision limitless possibilities.
My library is making my world truly worldwide with free internet access.
My library is helping me keep an eye on my health with access to the virtual health library via the Nallis website.
Nallis is my library.
You're viewing Pillars of Progress. Thanks for staying with us. It's seen as the backbone of society, holding it together at its core. Well, because families are so important, an entire month has been devoted to celebrate this unit. The activities have already started, but they're being driven by Family Services Division. They say it's a time of reflection and fellowship.
Research pins a lot of hope on this kind of unit. The family, according to some school of thought, determines the very core of our society. It's this kind of thinking that drives the Ministry of the People and Social Development to devote time and energies to the celebration of National Family Month.
Families are the building blocks or the foundation of society. Good, strong, healthy and supportive families yield a society that shares characteristics for progress. And as you know, stronger family, stronger nation.
In order to make this happen, the ministry has decided that it will do all in its power to give support to families.
In this vein, the division hosts continuous training programs to inform and support individuals, families and groups through the successful passage of all life stages. And such programs would number among Parenting and the Family, and the ongoing radio program, It's Family Time. Let's talk.
But that's just the beginning. A month-long celebration is planned, and it includes a media campaign as well as educational seminars and workshops aimed at teaching parenting. Churches have also been asked to recognize the month of activities by addressing issues of the family in their services.
The Ministry of the People and Social Development has been working with vulnerable families and people. We've provided targeted conditional cash transfer program, what people call a food card. We have a variety of grants to assist with people getting out of poverty and being able to promote themselves and to empower themselves.
National Family Month commenced on Mother's Day and ends on Father's Day. Minister Ramadhar Singh says his ministry is taking a lead role, refocusing and strengthening the core fabric of society, the family. The theme of this year's celebration is confronting family, poverty and social exclusion, fostering community cohesion. I am Lindian Mars for Pillars of Progress.
And some sad news coming out of the Ministry of Education. Their line minister, Dr. Tim Gopi Singh, was admitted to the St. Clair Medical Center on the evening of Monday, May 16th. But we're assured that all is well. A statement from his ministry states that he underwent minor surgery and he's recuperating. It's estimated that it will take about 6 to 8 weeks before he's fully healed. But we're told the minister will continue his work during this period. A statement from his ministry explains that he sustained an injury to his left elbow region while playing a game of cricket between Parliament and the judiciary at the National Cricket Centre. And that's all we have time for today. I'm Anne-Marie Ganesh, inviting you to join me again as we continue our look at the government's work. Do remember you can see repeats of today's program every day on TV6 at 11:40 a.m., on CNC3 at 11:30, at 102 on CNMG, and at 11:30 on Gael, the station. This has been Pillars of Progress, a look at the work our government is doing as it implements the development plans for the nation. On behalf of all of us at the Government Information Services Limited, we wish you a safe and productive week.